Hey there. Welcome to the New You Life Pulse podcast, where members go to get a pulse on the heartbeat of our incredible community. New You Life is the hormone health company developing transformative products that challenge the way you age. The Pulse features rising stars, leaders in the field, and insights from our leaders at headquarters. Each Pulse podcast is designed to help you become the best version of yourself by keeping you dialed in, inspired, and motivated. Are you ready to be the best you? Now, let's listen to the Pulse of New You Life.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Becca Glover. I'm your recognition coordinator, and this is our You Inspire podcast. I am here with the one and only Joe and Leigh Juliano. Hi, you guys. Welcome.
Hi, Becca.
Thank
for
you
having
guys
us.
so much for jumping on. I appreciate it so much. I'm super excited today. Joe and Leigh have just so much experience, not just in New You Life, but in the industry itself. And I'm so excited to pick your guys' brains and talk to you and just kind of share some of the cool things that y'all have experienced while being here in New You Life. But before we get started, I'd like to play a little game at the beginning of our podcast, a little game of this or that. So I'm going to give you guys two choices and just like quick rapid fire, and you tell me. I think I already know the answer to this first one, knowing the two of you, but the first one is summer or winter?
Summer.
Winter.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising. That's surprising. Okay. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Sweet. Okay. Okay. If you had a superpower, flying or mind reading?
Flying.
Oh, different. So then you guys are a power duo. It's like Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. Like you got two different powers.
Yeah.
I also know the answer to this one. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, easily.
Dogs. Okay, books or movie?
Books.
Movie.
What's your favorite book and what's your favorite movie?
Oh, favorite book is Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten.
Cute.
And I guess, go ahead. What's your favorite movie?
Braveheart.
Oh, that's a great movie. Great movie. Okay, last two. Nervy flavors, Palmberry or passion fruit?
Passion fruit.
Palmberry.
Okay. And then MLT, raspberry lemonade or tropical punch?
Tropical punch.
Really?
Yeah, I mix them.
Oh, you mix them?
One's not sweet enough and the other one's too sweet, so I just mix them together and it's perfect.
I guess we do drink the mixed one, yeah.
I'm going to try that this morning. I'm going to go and try that. That sounds great. Okay, cool. Well, Thank you guys. That's so fun. It's fun to just kind of get to know everyone. So really kind of first and foremost, I'm going to just give you guys the floor. I just want you to tell everyone like your New You Life story, how you got here, what, drove you to New You Life, how did you, start this with Alexi, and just kind of tell us your story.
Well, we had been in the industry for 23 years and we got out of it. We just weren't happy with the products that were out there. We're product oriented builders.
Yeah.
We had been master distributors of another company and left there in 2015, and we just wanted to back away from the industry. So people would call us industry professionals, but we weren't really planning on coming back in, but we weren't happy. We were successful with what we started doing in regular business, but we weren't extremely happy. So we kind of just opened up to what may come. Mm-hmm. And Alexi came, and transdermal HGH that's registered, with an NDC code from the FDA came. And when it came, I thought, wow, that is very unique. Leigh didn't really understand HGH and everything about it, but ironically, I had read an article about Grow Young with HGH by Dr. Robert Klatz, like 15 years prior to meeting Alexi. So that was the initial draw.
Wow.
Meeting Alexi and getting to know him over the phone at first was what really propelled us to join him.
Yeah.
And like co-found the company and and you know, my job was to go out there and bring individuals to bring this to the world. But getting back to Alexi, that's the key. That's, you know, when you talk about you know, I know this is recognition. Leigh and I don't need any recognition, and I don't think Alexi needs or wants any. We don't want any, and Alexi doesn't either. Because what we noticed about him was his heart was to help people with a product that he had experienced over a 15-year period of time or 17-year period of time that really changed people's lives. And I think what was exciting to him was that he could be all over the country in a matter of months rather than selling it out of his stores. He just didn't have that capability. He's a master formulator.
Totally.
But he didn't have that marketing capability. And that's how we got here.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we got here. Wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely. It was Alexis Heart. I was done with network marketing, never wanted to do it again. And it was Alexis Heart and his whole self, his integrity, his honesty, his humbleness that changed my mind.
You know, I love that you guys say that, because I feel like that's because I'm almost at my 2-year mark of being with New Life, and I feel like that has been the constant theme that I hear anytime I talk to anyone about, not even just Alexi, but like the company and the leaders in general. And, you know, I remember getting to hang out with you guys in Costa Rica for the couple days before everyone got there. I was so scared. I was like, it's Joe and Leigh. They're so cool. Like they're like, you know, that's mom and dad. Like that is them. And you guys are just so same thing, down to earth, humble, kind, giving. And I just feel like, you know, when you have someone leading at the front with that, that's the type of people that you attract. And then those are the type of people that they go out and attract. And then you just continue to kind of build that attraction base of like great humans, just great people that genuinely, you know, like you said, it's not just product led, or it's very like human connection led. I feel
we went like this with Alexi. It was like we just kind of like meshed.
I love that.
Together.
I love that.
And we have the same principles.
Yeah.
On how people need to be treated.
Totally.
And as much as people don't like to hear it, our industry is filled with, you know, driving volume and driving people. And yes, I mean, you do have to drive volume and drive people to be successful. I'm talking about a mindset and how you treat people. And we wanted to build something different. We are a different network marketing, direct sales company, whatever you want to call it. Some people don't even like to use that, and I don't know why. It's like we take this to our social networks and we share something that we believe in. Yeah. But we function differently from within, and I'm proud of that. That's what drew us to Alexi. That's what made us mesh. And there was no peripheral back-minded thoughts like, we don't trust this guy, we have to watch our backs. And you have to watch your back in this industry. There's always people like that. But if you're if the top is right, and that meshes together, it was like a runway. And God just blessed this from the beginning, and it just took off and it never stopped. It's pretty cool.
I love that. I love what you said, that it kind of like starts from within, and it really does come down to how people want to be treated. And, you know, I think I agree. I think it's so funny when people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to do network marketing. And, you know, my thought is, I'm like, you're going on and you're going to share what you're ordering from Starbucks every day and what your cool order is, and you're not making money off of that. So how is it, you might as well be making money off of sharing something you truly believe in. Right. Yeah. You know, so kind of going in that, you know, being in, you know, you said what, 23 years that you guys
23 years before we met Alexi. Now we're on finishing up year 29.
Wow.
And we've been married for 30. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary.
Oh my gosh, Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. I'm digressing. What's your secret to success? And then I'll get back to recognition. But I want to know, like, what's the secret to 30 years?
You want to answer? You go ahead. I've been answering. I can help you if you need help.
I don't know, just treating him like I always say, you know, we grew up together. So we've been together longer than we were with our families, right? And so we grew up together. And when you grow up with somebody, they're your best friends. You value the relationship more than you value the argument. So I pick my battles, and it's all small. So there's nothing.
So I don't know why this all has to do with me getting myself in trouble. That's where I feel this going.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, he's my greatest gift. And I think as far as what's our greatest, why did this work? Mm-hmm. It's building each other's greatness. Yeah. You know, he builds mine and I fuel his, and it's a give and take.
Yeah.
Well, and consistency. I have a drive in me when I believe in something, and I'm very, very consistent and persistent. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best, but I'm persistent, and that's what's so cool about what we do. I love our industry because you don't have to have this vast education. You don't have to have deep pockets. You don't have to have business relationships. You just have to be a person that is driven by some goals, you know, and, you know, you have dreams and goals, and there's a bridge between them. And that bridge is being consistent and being persistent. And that's what allows people to win. That's why we've done this 5 times since we were 25-year-old kids, 5 different companies, and we've been successful every time. We were successful when we didn't know what we were doing, and we're successful when we do. But the glue that's held that all together is we were consistent and persistent, and we showed up and we took care of people. That was one of my weaknesses in the beginning. I used to overdo it and push people away. Like, you know, kind of, you know, my first company had like these militant teachings, and I'm a wrestling coach, so it's easy for me to be a militant. So you cognizantly have to like retract from that, and you have to learn that everybody's different. I learned being a wrestling coach that if 2 kids go out on the mat and get pinned, you can scream at one, but you got to love the other. They're two different humans. They operate, they function mentally different. So you can go hard on one, but you got to hug the other and say, you'll do better next time. You know, and this industry's kind of like that. People are so different, and you have to treat them in their world rather than yours.
Meeting them where they are.
So that's something that's helped us, you know, be successful. And I had to really learn. She didn't have to, but I did. Because she's nice and I'm not.
No, I love that. I just think you guys make such a great team because you just have those, you know, you both have your strengths. And so bringing those together, you know, obviously in your personal life, but then in your business, it's obviously making it work. And that, I think that word consistency, I think that is the most important aspect of being in this business. Because even when it gets hard, even when it gets crazy, even when, you know, you feel like you're having a down day or a down week or a down month, like that consistency and that like belief keeping you moving forward, you know, that's super important. So with your guys' experience, you know, obviously almost, you know, 30 years in the industry, what does recognition mean to you guys, and why is it so important, especially in this type of industry? Kind of going to what you were saying about there are so many different types of people that we work with.
Well, I think people love recognition. There's a saying that people will die for recognition rather than a check. I think they like both, but I think they like to be recognized because in our industry, you get rewarded for merit, which is different. You know, there's a lot of people that are frustrated in corporate America because they get passed over for a promotion, and they probably deserved it more than 2 or 3 other people that got it, but maybe because they knew someone. That's what it can't exist here.
Yeah.
It physically, because of the way that we're structured.
Totally.
You know, if I had one message to get out to people that work in corporate America, I would say, how would you like to have an opportunity that you would never have to worry about again being passed up for a promotion or being recognized for what you did for the company? And that's really cool. People love recognition. They want, you know, they don't want to just, you know, they love going across the stage, but they love somebody saying to them, thank you for a job well done, with a heartfelt meaning behind it.
Yeah. You want to know that they're valued.
Yeah.
And I think that's, to me, that's what recognition is. You're saying you are valuable and you mean something to me.
Yeah. And you have worth, and you're seen, and we
Yes.
see you, and we appreciate you, and we love what you're doing. And I actually, you know, I never really thought of it in that sense of it really is like, if you do the work and you hit all the goals that you need to hit, like you're going to hit that next rank and you're going to get recognized for it. Like there's no, you know, or you qualify for that trip, like you're jumping on a plane to Costa Rica or, you know, to Thailand or wherever it is that the next trips are. You know, that's such a cool way to look at it. And I never really thought of looking at it that way. I love that. So I'd love to hear from you guys, you know, what has worked within your, you know, previous teams now for, you know, because, you know, corporate can, you know, we can send all these things, but I truly believe so much of it comes down to leaders as well, and you supporting your teams. And I think that's one thing that y'all do so well is supporting your downlines and your teams. I just, you know, every time I turn around on Facebook, you guys are flying to someone else's house or going somewhere for another event to support people. So what works for you? Like what have you found is the most impactful and successful when working with your teams and supporting them and recognizing them, all the things?
I'm going to say being accessible, letting them know we're here for you, do the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And being there for them, not just saying it, but actually doing it. Yeah. So that, I think that to me.
Well, when you say being there, you know, let's get down to the nitty gritty of that. When people do this, our business, what they have to learn is they don't need to know everything.
Yes.
And being there for them is, in the beginning, you have to get the point across to say to them, don't become a scientist. A lot of people want to do that. Don't become a doctor. Don't become a know-it-all. Don't be, you know, immersing yourself in the comp plan and explaining it, because the people that you're bringing this to, it's actually a turnoff. What isn't a turnoff is when someone is passionate about their 2-minute story on what the products, what the company means to them.
Totally.
And that's what they need to convey. So our job is to teach those new individuals, even if they're professionals in their own right, if they're the best public speaker, it doesn't matter. If they're the best attorney, it doesn't matter. If they're the best realtor, none of that matters. What matters is their people skills and how they can associate. And what I want them to do is, instead of trying to know everything, is to realize that they don't need to know everything. And this will be a major accomplishment in a major leap forward on the timeline of success in our business, because they let us do it. It's not that we want to do so many phone calls and so many events and so many Zooms. It's that we want to show them that bringing in a third party and letting them explain what's going on allows the prospect to say, wow, so-and-so didn't need to know all this stuff, nor do I. I can do this.
Yeah.
I want to use this product and see if I can get as passionate as as the person that is the distributor, the new distributor. That's the key element. There's no other element. There's no other marketing. There's no other technique other than showing someone, because there will come a day, because of them experiencing and being present when they introduce and edify someone that can explain what's going on, they're getting on the job training. So the day will come when they get put in the hot seat.
Totally.
So.
I love that. What are some like specific things that you guys do for your teams? I'd love for you to elaborate that help, that you support them in. You know, I know you talked a little bit about calls and events, but like what specifically do you do while you're there to support them and help them? Like what does that look like for you?
Well, you always want to explain what's going on, you know, about the company. And we have our own story. So we always tell our own story, and then we tell the company story, which is pretty cool because it's been a zero to hero story, and it just keeps elevating no matter what country we go in, no matter what city we go in, no matter what people, you know, that use the product, they all seem to have a positive experience.
Totally.
So, and then you involve people. You can't do it all.
Yeah.
You involve people. You want them to tell their stories. And when you have an event, Becca, one of the most important things to do is not to drill people for hours. You know, it's to tell that short story, tell the company, our story, the company story, and then to involve those other people. You have to involve them, and you have to start letting them grow. You have to give people responsibilities and jobs. You know, like at 1 o'clock today, I have a call with a couple of distributors, and that's going to be at a doctor's office. You know, and I said, okay, here's how this is going to go, you know, and just laid it out. And at this point, I'll call on you guys to give your stories, and we'll expect that. So be ready. So you have to involve people.
I love that.
And you have to let them grow as well. Yeah. So, and they'll grow from when they see us doing things, then they'll duplicate. This business is all about being able to have a simple, duplicatable system. That's why I said, don't try to become this marketing expert. Don't try to become a medical expert or a scientific expert, because that puts the fear, you know, in other people to say, oh gosh, if I have to do all that,
yeah,
I don't want to do this kind of thing, you know?
Totally. I love what you said. And I think a lot of that also goes back to everything that you guys were saying of connection and people, and, you know, really like you said, Leigh, like really valuing them and getting to know who you're working with. So when you are in that moment, then you're saying, hey, I know X, Y, and Z about you, and I want you to share that part of your story. And I think sometimes that can get lost in this industry. And I like what you said, Joe, is I think some companies get to that point where it's just like you're just hounding and hounding and hounding rather than just sharing your story and being personal and being relatable. And I think that's so important, to get to know who you're working with, because in and of itself, I mean, you're probably scaring the crap out of some of your team when you're like, hey, I'm calling on you, let's go. But sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes we need that outside person to push us, right? Like you're not, you know, someone to push you to go try out for that team or to, you know, audition for that show. Same thing in this industry. You need your upline or your leaders to push you to share your story, because then you're going to then do that for other people, right? So yeah. What was like your pivotal moment just in general that you were like, this is it, like this is the right place for us, you know, with your conversations? And with like, was there like a singular aha moment, or was it kind of just everything all together?
Well, in the beginning, for me, it was the product. I can remember before we ever even bought the product, I'm like, you know what? If this really works, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you think it'll work? I'm like, I don't know. And then it worked. And then, so for me, that was the aha moment, you know, when I started sleeping better and my hot flashes and night sweats were gone. I was like, Joe, it really works.
Yeah.
And then we knew. So that for me, that was my aha moment, because I can remember the conversations.
Well, yeah, she was, you know, she just had a hysterectomy a year and a
Yeah.
half before meeting
Oh, yeah.
Alexis. So she was a train wreck. So watching both of us starting to be
Yeah.
affected after
Yeah.
3 days and 6 doses of gel was like, it's on.
Yeah.
So that was it. It was
It was
initially
literally that quick.
drew by the product.
Yep.
Step one, just the thought of it, understanding what it is, what it could be.
Yeah.
2, Alexi. 3,
Yep.
the actual experience, and then we knew. Then it was over. Then it was persistence, consistence.
Love it.
No quit. You know, took us about 8 months, 7-8 months to put the company together. We had a skeleton crew. It was Leigh and I and Vicky and Alex and Alex's people that worked for him at Natural Life Foods and Strike Force Nutrition. You know, he had a little bit of a marketing staff, and you know, everybody was helping. We just all jumped in.
I love it.
And we all banded together and helped. We had no C-level people. We just did it. It's really cool. It's like this is silly, but it's like a Cinderella story, okay? Because we shouldn't have been successful. The reason that New You Life is successful today is because we did the polar opposite of what other network marketing companies do. You're in Utah. If you go up and down the lane and there's 100 different, maybe, I don't know how many. There's probably 1,000.
There's so many.
2,000. I don't know, but I will guarantee you that 99% of them started by bringing a group of executives together, modeling a compensation plan, working backwards into a cost of goods, finding some scientists, a product, a service to put in that comp plan. We didn't do that.
Yeah.
We built our company around Alexis' knowledge and the magnitude of Somaderm.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We stood it on a pedestal and said, we're going to build a company. We're going to affect people with this. Yeah. We're going to give them an opportunity to share it in their social networks. We're going to pay them like they've never been paid before. You know, our comp plan has been paying out 52 cents on the dollar since the day that we started. No one does that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's what I mean by we did things different, we function different, we act different. Mm-hmm. And people that are here that have become a part of this understand that, and that's why they stay.
Yeah. I love that. Well, and I think that shows when your teams grow, and you know, having the opportunity to watch you all interact with your teams, you know, just in the few times I've gotten to meet you guys is really cool. And I think like you do make yourself so accessible, and you're really truly working the front lines with your team, you know, and I think that's also something that I think makes New You Life so different is I've seen other leaders in other companies I've worked in that just say, okay, I'm here and I'm chilling, you know, you guys figure it out. Whereas I think, you know, I see you guys like every single time, like you're working on the front lines to help get your people to where they want to be. Right. It's about where they want to go and what the work they're willing to put in. And I think that's also what makes you guys so special is just how hard you work for your team. And that in turn also, you know, it's for their success and your success. So I guess my next question is like, what would be your guys' advice for someone who's really like, I'm really ready to take this like next big step. Like I want to make New You Life my full-time job, or I want to hit Diamond Ambassador, or I want to qualify for the next incentive trip. Like what would be your best piece of advice to get there?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
The first thing is I teach people to manage their expectations, what to expect. Okay. Not everybody's going to say yes. Don't connect yourself to the responses of others, because It's not, you know, the people are never really saying no to you. They're saying no right now for whatever reason, but you don't have time to sit and change people's minds. Okay. So I teach people to manage their own mind and understand that the conversation that they have with themselves is the biggest conversation that they will ever have. That is an absolute fact.
Wow.
That's number one. Number two, I'm very careful to find out what people want, why they're doing this. Someone is always doing this for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that I will monitor people, you'll actually see people when it gets tough sometimes people will use the reasons and they'll start turning that reason back into an excuse not to do the business. Then I know I have someone that is truly not serious.
Yeah.
So we have to watch that our time's not being wasted. So you as a leader, whoever's watching this, when that person tells you that they're doing this business because of this, this, and this, and then all of a sudden this, and this are no longer reasons, they're back to being excuses, then you know how to love that person and how much energy to devote to that person.
Yeah.
But you're always looking. And this isn't, you know, sometimes you have to be stern, you have to be real, because we are building the business.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is you have to know how to jump on that 2-person bicycle with someone and how hard to pedal. Because you can't out-pedal them. You can't over-pedal them.
Yeah.
You can't drag or push or pull someone to success.
Yeah.
It has to be done together.
That's
the key. That is the key for someone's growth, to know that they got no quit in them, to know that they're disciplined, and to know that the reason is the reason. It never becomes an excuse.
Yeah. I love that. I think that is very profound. And I think again, it goes back to you guys really learning and understanding who it is that you're working with. And like you said, you want people who are exactly how your relationship with Alexi started, someone who's in it to win it, like someone who is literally all in and ready to move forward, because that's how everyone grows and everyone succeeds. And, you know, when you guys are helping push people when they want to be pushed, that's when you see success. You guys, you're just out here blowing my mind. Oh my goodness. I'm overwhelmed with how much knowledge you guys have. It's so cool to just see how much you guys have done for the company in the last, even just the last 2 years that I've been around. I guess my last question is what has been your favorite moment or experience in New You Life? Like, what has been your favorite event, your favorite thing that you guys have done? Just what's kind of been your favorite moment?
Can I have two?
Yes, you can have as many as you want.
My all-time favorite is to watch someone who has been in a shell, been quiet, reserved, and watch them morph into this butterfly. And so when you talk about helping people where they are, it's nudging them and encouraging them and just watching this person. And we're like mom and dad, watching your kids grow and succeed. But that is my favorite part. And then I love the trips. I love being with everybody and just seeing everybody out of the business side and seeing the fun side.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about the fun.
Yeah. Yes, you guys are so fun. You guys are so fun.
Yeah. My favorite was Costa Rica. And, over our years of development and growth of the company, we've even lost some leaders over the years. It's okay. In an organization of when you sell something, some people don't fit. And what was really cool about Costa Rica is you learned who fit and who was here for the right reasons.
Totally.
Seriously, that's why I said we're the polar opposite. Because when you're all about drilling comp plan and drilling money, and we like people to make money, and we have lots of people that make money and lots of people that make promotions. But when that's what your focus is, it always falls apart. I've watched these companies fall apart, but New You Life's not going to fall apart. New You Life is going to keep growing, and that's why my favorite event was Costa Rica. I just watched and I was like, wow, everyone is supposed to be here, and that will draw more people like us and like the people that were on the trip
Totally.
to want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I felt the same energy in Costa Rica. I feel like as soon as everyone got there, it was like even people who had never even met each other, it was like you said, it was just that like boom, just like instant connection, and people were just like hanging out and just being together, and it was just so cool to kind of watch. It was like a family reunion, right? Like where you hadn't seen someone in so long, but it was like no time had passed at all. But for some of these people, they'd never even met each other in person, and I've never experienced that either. From being on the corporate side, it's always a little different. You're kind of running things in the background and you're just kind of like hi bye. But I feel like when I was there, like all of the leaders wanted to interact with us as well. Like we weren't just someone that they just needed something from. Like we were genuinely included with you guys and included in with the family. And I think that's super, super special as well. And I think that's something Alexi has instilled into, not only into distributors, but into our corporate staff as well, is that, we say it all the time, and, it sounds so cliche, but like we truly are a family, and it really, really feels that way. And I think that's why you said, Joe, I think that's why it's so different, because we're not coming at this from that, like, we're a business, we need to do this. We're a family and we're here to support you. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you're successful, but that we're also teaching you and helping you in this area. So you don't have to become a medical expert. And if you don't know, we'll help you. We can help you get there. Right. You guys are so wonderful. Thank you so much. Is there any last words, last piece of advice that you have? Final thoughts?
You want to go?
No, go ahead.
Just be a part of New You Life. We have an event coming up in Florida on November 3rd and 4th. Be there. You have to expose yourself. You have to, in order for people to grow. This is something that we did early on in our business. We never missed an event. We were everywhere. We were at every training. Like I said, we started out kind of like militants, and then we realized, wow, it's not like that. You just have to grow. Plus, we were 25. So what do you know when you're 25, right? Now we're 56. So you learn how to be different and what something means to you. And you can't do that. You cannot be successful at this. This business is an interpersonal sport, okay? Which it means it's done together. You have to have a team of people. You have to have a culture, and you can't do that if you're not there.
Yeah.
So show up on the calls, and it will make you want to show up at the events. And when you and maybe you're not even, there's people that are very successful at our type of business that they have the ability to be successful from the get-go, but for some reason they didn't involve themselves from the get-go, but they keep sticking their toe in, then they have their foot in, then it's up to their ankle and they're up to their knee. Before they know it, they're up to here and they're at an event and they're like, okay.
Then the full dive.
Yeah. It's weird. And then some people just start and go. They've never done it before. It takes all kinds, but you have to involve yourself. You can't say that you want success and then not be present. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And
what
then you got to show
what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also want to say too, you need to experience, it's always good to be with like-minded people, right?
Yes.
And by being at an event, you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people and who embrace you and love you and
gives you strength.
It does.
It gives you power.
It
gives you belief, and belief creates action, and actions create more belief, and more belief creates more action. It's like it's a beautiful thing for people to experience it. They
I
have
wanna-
to show up.
And I do want to share. So way back 29 years ago, there was an event. We had 2 babies in diapers. Both of them had double ear infections. And I decided I couldn't go. But he's like, I shouldn't go either. You can't be home with 2 babies in diapers. Yeah. And he talked to one of our leaders, and they said, you can't afford not to be there. And that was huge, because
that just gave me chills.
That event that threw our business and to the top. And so whatever your excuses are, double babies and diapers, double ear infections, whatever it is.
One income, just built a house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not enough money to go. When you want success, there's no excuses.
Don't use your why as an excuse. If you have a why, stick to that why, and use these events to help catapult your business to the next level.
And our why was, we didn't want our kids in daycare.
Yep.
We were deathly afraid of letting someone else raise our kids, or what may happen to them while they're away from us, because you don't know what's going to happen. We were like, no one's raising our kids but us. Yep. And we wanted her to, be a stay-at-home mom. But then all of a sudden we're like, well, why can't we both be a stay-at-home?
Yeah.
And that event led to almost 10,000 people over a 7-year period of time.
Wow.
At one event in Baltimore, Maryland, that I drove a group of people there in our Chevy minivan.
Yeah.
It was our first new car ever. It was a minivan. It was brand new.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we ended up having 25 people at that event.
Yep.
People much more successful than us. We had a maxillofacial surgeon. We had a chiropractor.
Wow.
We had air traffic controller.
Wow.
We had a construction company owner. We're like kids. We're, $70,000 a year was pretty good in aviation, but I mean, somehow we figured out a way to get these people excited enough to go to Baltimore, Maryland to see this event. Most of us lived in Indiana, some in Pennsylvania, but nonetheless, that's where we learned, wow, this is way bigger than us. And she wasn't there for that one, but I learned looking around that we can do this. We can do this just like the rest of them that are up on that stage. And then we did it.
And I love what you said about not using your why as an excuse. If anything, like, you should use your why to combat every single excuse, because that's what drove you here, and not forgetting that, I think is so powerful. And I think that just goes to show so much of your guys' consistency and dedication, that no matter what, you have to stick to your why, even when it's hard. When it's hard, even when it gets sticky, even when it gets rough, because now look at where you're at, right?
Yeah.
And look at,
we're in a good place.
Yeah, and all the things that it's been able to give you. So, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your insight. I appreciate y'all taking time to chat with me. You guys are you're so wonderful. And every time I see you guys, it just makes me so happy. And hopefully I get to see you guys soon, because Costa Rica was too far away and I miss y'all.
Miss you too.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And
thanks for having us.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye.
Can't wait. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the New You Life Pulse podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, for more information, please visit our website, newyoulife.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the New You Life Pulse podcast.